Stock of the day, I thought we'd take a look at Nuix. Has been in the news for quite a while. A couple of day or two ago, there was a launch of a class action against its IPO forecast today. Just this morning, it's down another 7%. Of course, it's the big investigative analytics and intelligence software business. Down 7% with a poor update at its annual general meeting. Look at that 1 year chart. Hasn't been listed for very long, and there have been a few casualties as a result of it. Gary, what do you think of Nuix?
You know, when it actually got down to that sort of 220 there, what must be around sort of June, I thought that was a bit of a washout at the time, a bit of a washout low. So it was sort of recovered from there and got up to 330, but it's really only sort of gone up in a really mild three wave sort of, like almost like a counter move. And now we started to sell off here, and now we've had an update here, and although the revenue line was higher, talking about profit getting impacted next year, they're not even sort of giving too much guidance because they're not sure about their revenue line for the next 12 months as well, whether they're these contracts are as sticky as they think. And so there's a few little concerns there with the business there. So increasing costs aren't going to help next year. So just
gee, this was a star listing at the end of last year, wasn't it? You know, Macquarie backed it in.
Listed at the right time, I guess.
It was hot, and that's why it went up to 11.17, down to 226. So keep well away.
Yeah, some of these tech stocks, it's you know, tech can be, it's not always everlasting, you know. So someone can come and supersede you. So yeah, things can change pretty rapidly.
Okay. All right. Howard, it's only a recent listing, so wouldn't meet a lot of the Team Invest filters, and certainly 12 months on it wouldn't.
No, and the biggest reason, though, why we don't like companies with very short histories, you don't know enough about them. And remember, prospectus is a marketing document. It's designed to prize your money away from you and give it to the people who are selling the shares, or to fund a company that's not making enough money to fund itself. So as a marketing document, you have to be very wary of any prospectus, because they're going to put as much lipstick on the pig as they possibly can. Now, that doesn't mean that all IPOs are bad, but wow, you've got to do an enormous amount of due diligence. And the hotter it is and the more hype there is around it, the more you need to beware, because if it needs the hype to be having an IPO, that's a worry. You want an IPO that looks boring. You know, company's growing nicely, it's making profits, but it wants to expand a bit more and it needs a little bit of extra capital. They're unlikely to paint lipstick on the pig. But the ones that are most likely to do that are the ones you have to be the most worried about. And trustworthiness of the information from management is the most important thing. But if you look a little forward now, with ASIC investigating it, with some shareholders suing other shareholders, which is what class actions really boil down to. You know, they tout it as suing the company, but you're not suing the company. You're really suing the people who own the shares of the company. So some shareholders are suing effectively the wealth of the other shareholders in the company. Why would anybody want to touch it at this stage would be my attitude. But of course, as you say, we would never have looked at it in Team Invest because it didn't pass our filters and didn't have enough history.